like this guy, Michael Kraus, and I'll tell you why I like him. Because he's a solid citizen on Mother Earth. He cares about Mother Earth. He's connected to UNIFY, and one by one, it's all about time. Okay, very interesting. We're going to learn about Michael. How you doing today, Michael?
Well, I'm doing awesome. And there's a lot going on the planet. So that is also um, always out there in the field. And I can't say that whatever I'm experiencing, what my personal experience is with whatever is going on in the world is awesome. And I feel that there is a lot of emergence right now of people coming together, collaborate, cooperate, and show a lot more understanding, compassion, and kindness for one another, which brings a lot of hope.
Well,
How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm really good, and I'm very honored to get to talk to you because so someone who can speak the way you spoke, someone who thinks the way you think, is someone who, is compassionate himself, uh, enough to be sharing those types of thoughts. You could interview somebody else and they could say, XYZ, the stock market is going up. It's like big time thing. Or, this though, in my joy in talking with you, and we've done some shows together for the International Day of Peace and other projects, is in essence what I have found with you, plus being talented technically in that area and hosting, is that your DNA is the betterment of the world around you and caring about it enough to promote it and to share the good. And so I'm interested here to share you with our audience because I like you and I like your kind of a person because you're a benefit to society and humankind because other people are kind of like, they're doing their thing and that's cool. But you really are a guy who wants to unify. You're working with Unify, that .org organization who are been partnering with us on these projects. So tell me a little bit about you because how did you get to be who you are?
Well, I want to out by saying you can only recognize something in somebody else that already exists within you. So, talking about your DNA and a benefit to humanity and doing good in the world, that is who you are. And I believe that we are mere reflections of one another. So I just want to express my gratitude to you and your work that you've done for so many years and specifically how I got to know you was through the International Day of Peace and Times Square broadcast. And you've been doing this broadcast, I think, for 35 years. And rain or shine, you're truly committed. And I consider you as a brother. And I wanted to thank you for the introduction. And and interesting what you said is early on, people might talk about the stock market, and other people might talk about other things. I think it is truly our DNA, and it's about recognizing our purpose. And I believe that we came here onto this planet in this time, um, in space for the liberation of humanity. I believe that there is a greater purpose to us being here together on this spaceship called Earth, and that's what I'm committed to, and that is the purpose that I recognized, and this is what I want to share and bring forward and also offer to people.
But where does and you're doing it. And this I happen to know. You are doing everything you just said in your reality of your life and the thing projects that you're into. But where so Michael was a little boy where? Where did this little guy grow up? And when he played in the sandbox, did he not throw sand in someone's face or did he like hug someone's face?
He threw sand in somebody's face like all other children do. I think that is part of our that is part of our upbringing, that is part of our experiences, and that is part of our learning process. And only when you throw sand in somebody's face, you can see and feel how that resonates with the other person. And so it's part of our it's part of our upbringing. I was born in Germany. I came to Canada in 1992, which was 3 years after the opening of the borders in Germany, the reunion of Eastern Germany and Western Germany, and I thought that was a historical day in human history. And I'm not sure whether you're familiar. Well, you must be familiar with it. But the way it led to it was the Saturday protests in Eastern Germany, where thousands and tens of thousands of people came together to pray every Saturday. And those masses became bigger and bigger and bigger until they were so big that the army simply surrendered and then allowed the opening of the border, and the wall came down. And that celebration that day is something that is really, really stuck in my DNA, because it was pure joy, it was liberation, it was freedom, it was peace, it was love, it was harmony. And what I had experienced then after 3 years of um or within that time period is that there was a little bit of an animosity between Eastern Germany and Western Germany. And I thought at that time, Germany had a great, great responsibility, and that is to take the political system of a free market society, or capitalism. In Germany is not considered capitalism, it's called free market society, and socialism or communism, and bring them together. And what I mean by that is I had a girlfriend then from Eastern Germany, and for her it was normal to go and volunteer once a week, to go into a retirement home, to volunteer in the community. They had strong, strong bondages of families and townships, and there was a beautiful sense of connection to other human beings that emerged within socialism or communism. And I thought, well, what a beautiful opportunity Germany had at the time to kind of amalgamate both of those systems into something greater. And that didn't happen. And so the animosities between the people living in Germany, coming from the East and coming from the West, and was getting to a point where I thought, no, this is not something that where I want to be. And so um, I landed in Canada. My mother had emigrated to Canada a couple of years prior, and I thought, well, let me just go and see what that looks like and feels like. And I came here in '92, and haven't left ever since. Well, I've left to go on travels, but that was where I landed up geographically. And one of the most memorable experiences that I had coming to Canada at that time was I went to a gas station I think it was 6:30 in the morning, and this gas station attendant was so cheerful. He was so happy. He was there to be in service, and you could just feel his kindness and his empathy and his compassion, and he had a smile on his face. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful country that is. In Germany, if I would have talked to, or that's my perception, that's my story, but talking to somebody in Germany before 9 o'clock in the morning, I always expected rude answers. And here I come to a country where people at 6:30 in the morning, without being judgmental about the work that they do, but the service to another human being, and doing that service in such a beautiful, beautiful energy. At that point, I thought, wow, this is a beautiful country. This is where I want to stay. And so talking about random acts of kindness and the impact that those can have on other people, you have no idea. And
Uh,
so um, I was trained as a chef and a pastry chef in Germany, and that was also the career that I did in Canada and Vancouver for the first 20 years when I came here. At some point, I had a very successful cafe. I started the first truly sustainable and organic catering company here in Vancouver, and to me, hospitality was always the definition of hospitality to me is a genuine interest in the well-being of other people. And so that is kind of the common thread that I believe I was given from the time I grew up in Germany, specifically through my grandmother and my grandfather. But that is kind of the principle that I live by.
next chapter. What's the next
Next.
chapter? What's your next chapter? What do you foresee as a passion that you like to see happen for yourself?
There's a few things. I would like to go back into podcasting, and so one by one, it's about time is going to be a show around inspirational stories and and around the principle or the virtues of compassion and empathy and kindness and collaboration and cooperation. And I believe that the media right now is really dividing us, and it's affecting us potentially negatively, if I can say it that way. It occupies our mind with thoughts and contemplations that are having a more negative frequency attached to it, whether that is seeking the truth. That is right now, everybody is seeking the truth, but even that has a negative connotation to it. And so and it's I'm not saying ignore that, but I'm saying what are the stories, what are the examples, what are the the lived experiences of people that are doing good in the world. Why are they doing it? And ultimately, what is the impact and what is the outcome? And how can we support those people to the even greater?
All right. It's Michael. He's fantastic. I'm really honored to get to speak to you. I'm going to ask you one last question. I know you and I could probably sit here for a couple of days going and having a wonderful experience sharing with each other. So let me ask you one last question that I've asked thousands of people, actually. What is peace for you, Michael? What is peace?
Peace for me, that's an interesting question because on the project that I'm working on, I'm asking exactly the same question. What is your vision for peace in the world? And it actually has a map attached to it where people can add their vision for peace, and it shows it on a specific geolocation, and it allows people to
Oh,
then start to collaborate more in geographical areas. To me, peace is a tangible frequency. It is a tangible experience of harmony, of lightness, of love, of togetherness, of brotherhood and sisterhood. And it's a feeling that you can grasp. It's the connection to God, whatever name you want to put towards that. And I feel it is a state of being that is in harmony with life itself.
do we have a website? And do we have on that website anything about what you said? This map, is that on there?
Yeah, I'm starting to build it out. You can go on there. It's awaken.global. So www.awaken.global. And you can add your vision for peace into it and share your thoughts because it, it it's a really interesting question because what is peace is different for each and one of us. It's the same with love. what is love for you, it's the same for each and one of us. And um, we're always good at expressing what it is that we don't want, but it seems that we have a hard time expressing what it actually is that we want. And if we want to create peace on the planet and transform our current state into something more peaceful, then we have to have a clear vision. And without a clear vision, we're never going to get there. And so it's also really important, I believe, to learn from other people. What does peace mean to you? And I believe we all have a piece that fits into that puzzle to then ultimately fulfill that which our ancestors and those who came before us have spoken about: heaven on earth, golden age, nirvana, Shambhala, whatever name they have given to that state of being in the world. They knew it's going to come, and it will come. And what does that look like for each and one of us?
Michael Kraus, you're a good man. All right, thank you. One by one, it's about time, and so many more things. Thank you for sharing with us, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
Many blessings to you, Paul.
Thank you.